The following footage was uploaded to the YouTube channel Moto Owen in July of 2023. In the video, a rider named Owen ventured deep into a dense forested area, far off the main roads, with only his dirt bike and camera for company. As he pushed farther into the woods, the stranger the forest became, as he discovered several bones scattered along the trail, bleached fragments that most closely resembled the remains of a deer or another medium-sized animal. The sight clearly unnerved him, but instead of turning around, he decided to continue on, weaving his dirt bike through loose branches and rough, uneven terrain that occasionally knocked him off balance and threatened to throw him from the bike. Despite the challenges, he persevered, eventually reaching a section of the trail that was completely blocked by multiple large fallen trees, forming a natural barricade across his only way forward. Owen then killed the engine, climbed off the bike, and began trying to clear a path through the tangle of trunks and branches. For a brief moment, it was just him trying to free the path, with the dead quiet of the forest and the camera rolling. However, the situation soon took a very bizarre turn when he began to hear loud noises echoing out of the trees.
This is where most people would turn around. If you turn around, you never get to see what's on the other side. That's where all the gold is waiting over there. Could be missing out what's on the other side. Hello? Fuck.
It was hard to determine what actually made that noise, as it was never clearly revealed or captured on camera. However, the loud, distorted sound was enough for Owen to take it as his cue to leave, clearly shaken and focused on getting out of the woods as quickly and safely as he could. The only clues about what the sound might have been were the sudden drop in insect and bird noises, followed by a single strange burst of movement and vocalization somewhere in the trees. In a normal forest, that kind of silence often indicated a predator nearby, a large carnivore passing through, or animals reacting to some kind of threat. Whatever it was, the sound itself was most likely natural, an animal or environmental noise rather than anything supernatural. In theory, this could be a deer, a big cat, or even trees shifting and branches snapping on a hidden slope, with nothing visible to confirm what it really was. But when Owen rode out of the forest that day, the sound replayed in his mind, echoing inside his helmet long after the engine noise faded. But after a few days, curiosity and stubbornness started to outweigh his fear. He decided to go back. This time, he returned to the same trail with the camera rolling from the start, determined to retrace every turn and find out whether the forest was really hiding something.
Oh god, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. Oh! It's just dark as hell in here. I'm probably gonna turn around soon. Oh, there's two ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast. That was my cue to leave.
As Owen rides back out of the forest for the second time, it seems like the story should end there. 2 trips into the same stretch of woods, scattered bones, an impossible silence, and a rider who knows when it's time to leave. But later, when he scrubs through the footage frame by frame, he notices something he didn't see in the moment. For just a heartbeat, you can see what appears to be a pale, human-shaped figure standing in the darkness, vaguely resembling a tall, motionless creature watching from the edge of the tree line as Owen rides past. However, it's extremely ambiguous and could easily be a visual anomaly rather than a clear creature. It never moves clearly, never steps into the open, and it only appears for a single blurry instant. It could be a trick of the light, a pale tree trunk, compression artifacts, or something far more unsettling, standing perfectly still between the trees. But when combined with the bones on the ground, the vanishing landmark tree, and the way the forest twice fell completely silent before those strange noises, that one white shape is enough to transform a bad ride into a genuine mystery. In the end, it's up to you to decide whether what Owen encountered on those 2 visits was a predator, a hoax, or something else entirely. The following footage was uploaded to the YouTube channel Indiana Jones in October 2022. In the video, a British YouTuber named Richard set out on a solo van camping trip near Great Yarmouth in England. After Richard finished work, he immediately got into the van and began the roughly 4-hour drive from the northwest down toward Great Yarmouth. His plan for the trip was to have a quiet overnight stop at one of his pre-planned locations, then spend the entire next day with his son at the zoo before driving home that night. However, as he approached his usual spot, he soon realized that all nearby campsites were fully booked. As a result, he decided to stealth camp at alternative spots around Great Yarmouth, which included a preferred first option, a backup, and a last resort on the seafront that he did not really like the sound of. When he reached his first planned car park, it was full of modified cars and people hanging around, which would have drawn far too much attention to a small van trying to stealth camp. Considering these factors, he was forced to abandon that idea immediately and chose to head toward his backup location. He then started driving towards that spot, but as fate would have it, the route was disrupted by major roadworks and diversions that kept forcing him off the main highway and onto other roads.
There's a couple of spots that I've stealth camped down there before, on the way down there sort of thing. So when I get down to the Norfolk, I've got one spot, if that's a bit near.
My first spot was full of cars. Joys are doing it on a Friday night. All the little boy races are out with their little groups.
Then I'll go to the next one, if that's a bit there, then I'll go to the next one. And that last one is the one that's sort of a last resort, so to speak. It's typical seafront. It's a bit nervy sort of place. I don't know, we'll see what it's like when we get down there, because this is going to be a long journey. It's a 5-hour journey from the northwest of England all the way across the country to Norfolk coast. It's going to be so worth it when I get to see his cute little face. Hi Daddy! I can't wait.
Right, off to the second spot.
Uh-oh, we're coming up to roadwork signs. Keep seeing signs saying follow diversion, not sat nav. I'm hoping the road's not actually closed. Just down here is my second spot, my second choice. Oh no, they're bringing us off the A11. Damn it! Oh well, I'm just gonna have to go down to my third choice. It's the one I didn't want to have to do, but hey, it's the third choice. I know it's gonna be available when I get there.
With the road diversions in the late hour, getting back onto his intended route for that second spot became more hassle than it was worth, so he gave up on that option as well. With time running out and his 2 preferred options gone, he decided he had no choice but to head for the third place on his list, a seafront parking area in Great Yarmouth that he had been hoping to avoid. He described the location as a typical English seaside front, which felt a bit rough at night, and said this was exactly the kind of spot he did not want to end up in. But given the circumstances, he needed somewhere to sleep before the zoo trip with his son that he had been eagerly anticipating. When he finally pulled up at the seafront, he noticed there had been a power cut and saw at least one other van or camper in the distance. He also acknowledged that the lack of streetlights and the surrounding darkness made the entire area feel even more sketchy and creepy. With this in mind, he immediately decided to go into stealth mode, covering the van's windows so no one could easily see inside, keeping a low profile, and dimming the interior lights so the camper did not glow from the outside. He eventually said goodnight to his camera and decided to get some much-needed rest for the night. However, in the silence and pitch-black street outside, he was suddenly awakened by the sound of someone moving around his camper van.
I've just pulled up and I've got a light on this. That's why how you can see me. It's a red light, but it's a power cut. Just like it's pitch black. You've got a camper van down there, but it's absolutely pitch black. There's the van. I've got the lights on there, but it's quite eerie actually. There's my little paradise for tonight. I'm all blocked off at the front there. I can't have too much light on because I don't want people to see outside. Full double bed that I'm sat on here. There's the back doors. I've got my shelf there. I've got my drawer on charge, so that's why that's there. And I'll see you in the morning. Good night. I think they're trying the doors. know why I'm telling you to shush. Try locking it again and... Oh. I think that's worse. I can hear the van going, yeah. Right, I think they're gone. Let's go and have a look, shall we? There's all that. I've just got the head torch on. Still a power... Yeah, look, see? Look, see? Nobody is around. Close that up. Right. I want to get back into bed. I don't want anybody to know I'm here. That was scary. That was a bit spooky. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. Someone actually tried to steal fuel out of the van while I was inside it. Right, but I'm all locked up. I'm not moving. I struggle trying to find a spot. I'm not moving just yet now. I'm going to see if I can get back to sleep. I'm dead shaky.
After being jolted awake by noises and the van physically rocking, Richard, clearly shaken by the sudden disturbance, eventually got up, grabbed a light, and stepped outside to check around the van. During his investigation, he discovered that his fuel cap had been tampered with, likely an attempt to steal fuel or break in. However, he did not find anyone near the van, as the person had probably vanished into the dark seafront streets. He eventually went back inside, secured all the locks again, and tried to calm down and go back to sleep. He explained that he didn't want anyone to know he was there and also preferred not to leave the spot so late at night. However, at around 4 a.m., he was once again awakened by the sound of someone moving near the back of the van.
I think they're back. Right, that's it. I'm moving spots. Lesson learnt. I ain't parking there again. It's a Friday night. I've had some time to think. It took me about half an hour to find another spot. And I've basically just come up the A47 and found a lay-by. And I've dumped it in that. I'm by a road, but I don't care. It's getting on now. I might try for a couple of hours sleep before I actually have to wake up. But it's a Friday night. At least we know fuel thefts and van break-ins. This does look like a van. Doesn't look like a camper van. That's possibly where I made the mistake. Lesson learned. My next camper van is actually going to look like a camper van. I might just chop a window into the side of this just to make it look like a camper van. But I'm going to attempt to sleep. Worst case scenario, I've got a walking pole down there. I can do absolutely nothing with it. Good night, guys.
After being woken up for the second time, Richard had seen enough. He quickly gathered his belongings, started the engine, and drove off into the night in search of a safer place than the seafront car park. After about half an hour, he finally pulled into a lay-by off the A47, deciding that the constant traffic noise was preferable to feeling like a target. Lying there in the dark, he replayed the night in his mind and realized a hard lesson. His little micro-camper looked just like a plain work van, the kind of vehicle people expect to be full of tools or diesel. He became convinced that the first disturbance was someone attempting to steal fuel, and he began to suspect the second might have been a local simply trying to move him on, considering it was after all a Friday night in a rough seaside town. By morning, he had only managed a small, restless amount of sleep and felt tired and flat, admitting he didn't even have the energy to make a coffee in the van. But despite the night's events and his fatigue, Richard honored his promise to himself and his son. He took his boy to the zoo, and together they transformed the day into a long, enjoyable break and escape from the previous night's experience.
We're walking underneath an acorn tree, and
An acorn just hit me in the head.
acorns have... Oh, one just nearly got us again.
One hit
The
you in
acorns
the
are just
shin.
flying up and hitting us in the head.
If you've enjoyed the video so far, it would mean a lot if you considered subscribing. Over 95% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. Your support really helps the channel grow, and in return, I promise to keep bringing you guys the best quality content. Now let's get back to the video. The following footage was uploaded to the YouTube channel Under the Weather in November 2022. In the video, a YouTuber named James ventured deep into a remote Scottish glen for a solo wild camping trip. James had hiked through a very wet, muddy section of the forest and chosen a spot that was essentially a small island between two branches of a river. He noted that the location was difficult for anyone to access, making it an ideal place for his overnight campout. He then set up his tent, showed off a new winter sleeping bag, and let it loft while he prepared camp. He struggled with the damp conditions when trying to light a fire, but eventually managed to get a small campfire going for cooking. He cooked his dinner over the fire and enjoyed it inside his tent. As night fell, he decided to stay inside because the ground outside was soaked and a nearby waterfall was roaring constantly. He ultimately decided to call it a night and get some rest. However, at around 3 a.m., he was suddenly awakened by strange noises circling his campsite.
A bit too hot, but right, so I think I'm going to go to sleep. And unless something crazy happens, I will see you in the morning. Good night. Oh. Oh. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Hello? 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 Now the thing is, I'm kind of on an island here, so there's river on that side, river on that side. It's very hard to get down here if it's a human, that is. Hello? Typical, now I can't hear a thing. Right, I'll turn the light off. I've got a knife in here. I've got a knife. I've got a knife. Right.
Despite James's repeated efforts to call out into the darkness, and even warning at points that he had a knife, he kept hearing sounds that to him resembled someone laughing and moving through the water. Disturbingly, the noises kept growing louder and closer each time, appearing as though it was deliberately trying to target and scare James out of the forest. For the next few minutes, he stayed inside his tent, cycling through the same uneasy routine, calling out, nervously repeating himself, and straining to work out if someone was actually there. But yet he received no reply, only the constant roar of the waterfall, which ratcheted his anxiety even higher. James, unable to shake the feeling that something or someone was nearby, finally decided to investigate the source of the disturbance and prepared to step outside his tent.
Well, that definitely sounded like somebody there. But there's no one here. Every time I come out, it's empty. Unless I come out the fucking river. I don't even think. No, because as I said, I'm basically on an island, so there's no way that anyone could actually get it. Jesus Christ! What's... Hello? 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 Jesus Christ! Fuck that. Hello? Did that noise again. It sounds like somebody laughing outside, but I have no idea. Huh, unless it's the kelpies. Oh. Hello? Right, I might have to leave. But I can't leave, so I'm stuck here for the whole night. If I don't make it, this is my last will and testament, right? You're the last person to see me alive. Yeah. So they say, how did you sleep? I'm like, great. Like a psycho with a knife. Good night. Good night. Good night. What the hell was that? Oh, it's just my pillow. Right. Come on, you big scaredy cat. That's it. Ah, screw it. Lights off.
James explained that when he looked outside his tent, he saw nothing, but then heard what sounded like footsteps, which made him bolt straight back into the tent. He admitted that he was terrified, describing his mind as running wild, and said it was very difficult for him to fall asleep. After a while, the noises stopped, and everything went silent, finally allowing him to get some rest. When he woke up in the morning, he was relieved to see bright sunshine outside instead of anything threatening, and he was extremely glad he hadn't encountered anything else during the night. He eventually stepped out of his tent to check if anything was unusual or out of place. When he looked around his camp, he noted that everything seemed okay, apart from the fire being out due to the wet conditions. However, he noticed that some pieces of wood he had brought had been moved and stacked into a pile, something he hadn't done himself.
Hang on a minute. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Right. These were in a pile over there. And they were just sitting on the ground. Right. I think someone's playing silly buggers. Like I said, for me to get out of here and well, I can still live to tell another tale.
After making yet another strange discovery, James nervously, but with a hint of humor, thanked whoever it was before packing up and signing off the video. He then started leaving the campsite, and he fortunately didn't encounter anything unusual again. It's still unclear who or what was responsible for the noises around James's camp, although he was fairly convinced it was a person, since he heard hysterical laughter, footsteps and sounds of something moving through the water, yet every time he checked outside, there was no one there. By morning, the only physical clue was a strangely moved pile of wood near his tent, suggesting that something had been close during the night, but it offered no clear answers. Ultimately, with no clear figure or person ever caught on camera and no definitive explanation, it remains a chilling mystery whether what James encountered in the Scottish Glen was merely an unseen visitor or something far more sinister.